It's Jessica from Assisi Yoga. Good to join you tonight. Thanks for coming out to join me. I don't know about the rest of you, but this week has been a little challenging to say the least. A lot of time needed to kind of quiet things down and settle. But today, what I'm finding is that the mind is incredibly active and if you're like me, you've hit the refresh button 27 times today and it's all over the place. So, what we're going to do today, sometimes the right solution for a little more stressful time when the mind's a little more active is to take a quiet approach, relaxation, coming into restorative poses. And sometimes the answer is a more active practice. And that's what I'm finding for myself right now is that I really need to be moving. And because it's a little harder to get the mind to quiet down right now. And if I move directly into quieter poses, the head can be a little noisy. So I am using my active practice to help quiet the mind and come into a place where I could actually relax at the end of my practice. So I hope you will join me in that. And of course, as always, if we get somewhere and we need to just take a little time for ourselves, we find things are moving too quickly for your tempo, or you just need a minute, then come into Tadasana, come into you could come into Shavasana and spend the entire 45 minutes there if you want to, but come into Balasana, child's pose, or wherever you need to be. So we can always take time for ourselves if we find that something in the practice just isn't serving you in this moment. So that being said, before I step onto my mat, a quick, just in case you're looking for more ways to connect with Assisi Yoga, Assisi Yoga does have a YouTube channel and there's lots of wonderful resources there. So if you haven't checked it out yet, head on over to YouTube after, well, a little later, not right after your practice, because, give yourself a minute. But at some point, go check out Assisi Yoga on their YouTube channel, and you'll find a lot of great stuff there. So when we are ready, we will head on over to our mats, and we're going to get moving right away today. So all you need is a block and whatever you want for Shavasana to help you with relaxation at the end of your practice. So here we go. So we are going to start off tonight with sun salutations. Oh, I need a head here. I must have adjusted my screen. Hello? Okay. Nope, still not there. Sorry, folks. Let's see what we got to do to adjust. I wonder if a kid came in and moved my setup. All right. Oh, the beauty of live practice. Third time's a charm, hopefully. Don't know what's going on here, but okay. Thank you for your patience, one and all. Hopefully you're finding yourselves settled on your mat. There we go. And back to it. Okay. So I mostly have a head now. So let's just come into Tadasana before we get fully going. Find our feet on the floor. I like to, when I move into Tadasana, I like to kind of just get acquainted with the floor. I move my feet around a little bit, start to feel the texture under my feet. Notice where the balance is as I just come into my standard standing position. And then as I start to settle in, I check in and see what's happening in the rest of the body. Is there an evenness in the weight from side to side? Are the hips even across the chest and shoulders? How do things feel? Am I a little more open? Do I feel more tense? Can I notice where the tensions are? And then I'm pressing into the feet and lengthening through the crown of the head at the same time. Lifting up, feeling my height. Maybe take in the lower part of the shoulder blades and just draw them in toward the heart a bit. So the chest lifts slightly. And we'll take just a few more breaths here. Feeling the body, noticing where we are right now. What's our headspace looking like? What are the feelings? What kind of place are we in right now? And then we'll just let things soften and relax. Good. And now we'll step to the front of our mats. And we're going to take a fairly slow set of sun salutations to get started. I think I got to move a little farther away from my wall. Hopefully I'll still have a head here. All right, so stepping to the front of your mat, we will inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, folding forward, swan dive forward, arms out to the side, chest releasing, knees soften as much as we need them to. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to the floor, step the right foot back, join it with the left, come into your down dog. Inhale, we pull forward to plank position. And exhale, Chaturanga Tadasana, down in one long line all the way to the floor. Release the tops of the feet. Inhale, come up to baby cobra. And exhale, tuck the toes and press back into down dog. Inhale, we'll lift the right leg and step it through between the hands. We can always drop the knees and step that leg through if we need to. Inhale and exhale. Float the back foot forward to come back into your forward fold. Inhale, monkey, and exhale, fold. Bend the knees, press through the feet. Inhale, arms sweep up. We reach for the ceiling. And exhale, arms release. And again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Feel the body displacing the air as you move down. Inhale, monkey or tabletop, whatever you call it. And exhale, fold. We'll step the left foot back, join it with the right, come into your down dog. And inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Tadasana. Release the tops of the feet and inhale up into baby cobra. And exhale, chest releases, toes tuck, and we press back into down dog. Lift the left leg and step it through between the hands. Dropping the knees if we need to. Low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, float the back foot forward. Inhale, monkey. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, press through the feet. Inhale to standing. And exhale, release. So we're going to go through that one more time. As we do, trying to really find the connection of the movement of breath with the movement of the body, trying to notice the transition between poses. So we aren't just pose, pose, pose. We're there with the movement all the way. And then there is a moment at each place where we have that full expression of the pose. We experience that for a moment, and then we're ready to move on to the next. So same thing, one more time. Inhale, arms open and lift, reach for the ceiling. Exhale, forward folds, one dive, knees soften. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, fold. You can hop the feet back or step the right foot and then join it with the left in your down dog. Inhale forward into plank. Drop the knees if you need to. And exhale. Elbows stay in tight, shoulders back, all the way down. Inhale. If you start to feel like you want to come a little higher, you can come into full cobra or even up dog. Exhale, release. Or maybe we're already kind of pushing our boundaries and we just need to stick with our baby cobra. Pushing back, down dog. Lift the right leg and step it through between the hands. Low lunge. Inhale and exhale. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, monkey or tabletop. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Inhale all the way up to standing. Press through the feet, fingertips reach. Exhale, release. And the last one of these. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, fold. Hands release to the floor. Hop or step the left foot back. Join it with the right. Down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. And exhale. Chaturanga Tadasana, one long line. Release the tops of the feet. Inhale, lifting. Coming into your baby cobra or higher. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes. Push back into down dog. Good. Let's go ahead and release the knees and just sit back into child's pose for a few breaths. And maybe already we start to come into a little bit different relationship with the head. It becomes very focused on the body. There's no space for anything else. So the whole of our awareness, the whole of the work of the head right now is on connecting with the body. Feeling that connection, noticing the breath, feeling the way the shoulders and the hips move. The spine. Take a couple more breaths here. We're just going to press into our hands for a minute. Lift the chest a bit. Find your block. So whatever kind of block you're working with. And we want to have it set up on the right diagonal, because in just a minute we're going to use it as we come into half moon. So we want to have it available, half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. So we come back momentarily into our child's pose once we have our block ready. And then we're going to lift back up into our down dog. And let's spend a little more time with it here now. Maybe we walk out the feet a little bit. Find you need a different type of movement, side to side or forward and back. You take what you need here. Good. We'll let both heels settle. Chest slides back toward the upper thighs a little bit more. And we'll lift the right leg. Bend the knee 90 degrees and open into wild dog. So wild dog, the right hip is stacking over the left, and you're pressing into the right foot, like you have somebody's hand there that you're pressing your foot into. Watch the left shoulder. It's going to want to collapse here. We want to keep the shoulders even. Inhale. Exhale. Let's step that foot all the way through. Drop the knees if you need to. And we can always pull the right foot forward if we don't make it all the way the first time. All right, now we're going to hang out a little longer in our low lunge. So I'm going to draw the sternum forward a bit to help lengthen my spine out. Take a couple breaths here. Nice and long, that back leg is long and lifted. Good. And we're going to cartwheel the arms up, coming into Virabhadrasana 2. So the left arm sweeps up and over, the back heel lands, and we come into our Warrior 2, looking out over the front hand. Letting the breath settle. And I'm going to start to transition now into the half moon. So I'm just going to release my back arm for now. Start to bend into the front knee. I get my block for support. And we're going to start to lift the back leg. And as the back leg lifts, it straightens the front leg. And we can tuck the right sitting bone up underneath the body. That's going to help open up the left hip as well. Once we get there, if we're feeling solid, stable, maybe pressing the right thigh back just a little bit to lengthen out. And maybe we try lifting this top arm. So the right arm is stacked directly over the left. Left foot flexed. Crown of the head reaching long. Trying to get to a place where we feel like, you know, I could hang out here for a while. Finding the stability. Is the whole foot on the floor? Can I feel all four corners of the standing leg foot on the floor? You're going to picture Warrior 2 for yourself. And then we're going to allow ourselves to start to land to Warrior 2. Soften the front knee and just gently release back into your Warrior 2. And don't feel bad if it wasn't a graceful, gentle release. Some things take time. Couple more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. We'll step the left foot forward to join the right. And just come into Tadasana for a moment. Rest. Maybe just shift your block to the left side. I'm taking it all the way to the other side of my mat so I can still see you, but you just need to shift it over to the left diagonal. Good. All right, so we're stepping back up to the top of our mats. Inhale, arms sweep up. Reach, shoulders drop down at the same time. And exhale, fold forward. Soften the knees as you go. Hands release to the floor. Step the left foot back and join it with the right in your down dog. And breathe. Lift the left leg. Bend the knee 90 degrees. open to wild dog. The weight on the right heel should be able to release a little closer to the floor. Watch the right shoulder. Stacking the left hip over the right, pressing into the left foot. Inhale and exhale. Step the left foot all the way through. Low lunge. Now, when we come into low lunge, if we find the back is really curled forward, that we have kind of this cat back happening, we could always take blocks underneath the hands and then draw the sternum forward. And that's going to help to really lengthen you out. So we don't want to be cat back here. We want one long line, really, from the heel to crown of the head. Take a couple more breaths. Good. And now we're going to cartwheel. Right arm comes up and around, coming into warrior two. Back heel lands. Watch that front knee. Very common thing that happens is the knee wants to tip to the inside. Protect the knee. We draw it more towards the outside, toward the pinky toe. There's something kind of nurturing about hanging out in warrior two for me. I hope you find that. It's, I think, this sense of both the expansion that's happening, like the energy just flows right through the body in either direction, and a sense of something kind of infinite as we look out over that front hand, the gaze a little bit unfocused. And now we prepare. We know we're moving into our half moon. We're just going to release this back hand. Start to bend the front knee even more deeply, reaching forward to grab our block. The back leg starts to draw forward and lifts up and straightens the front leg as it goes. Make sure that our standing leg is nice and strong first. We don't want to lock the joint, but we want it pretty straight. Experiment with the position of your block. Having it just slightly ahead of where you think it should be may be helpful. That really can help with balance. And when you're ready, maybe extending that top arm. Again, this is trying to find a line from the center, maybe even feeling the crown of the head and the line that runs through down the length of the spine, and then all the way down the leg into the heel. Picture warrior two. You sort of know in advance how you're going to fill it. And then you soften the front knee. Just gently release into your warrior two. Inhale and exhale. Join the back foot forward to the front, coming into Tadasana. You just move the knees around a little, move the hips around a little. And then we reestablish our foundation. So exhale, let things soften a little bit. So I find another good thing when we're trying to get the mind active is give it a job that it really has to focus on. So finding balance poses that are a little challenging for you are actually a really nice way to do that. So I'm going to show my slight wobbliness so that we can all work together to come into a slightly challenging transition into Warrior 3. Maybe it's going to be really challenging for some of you. You may want to have a chair or something that you can release the arms onto. If you can, you're going to try and do it without a chair. So we're going to accept in advance the reality that we may wobble, and that's okay. But we try to bring the head really into deep focus. So I come back into that Tadasana position. I find a focal point, or my drishti, about 6 to 8 feet in front of me. And from here, we're going to start to lift the right leg. The knee is bent, leg in front of the body. Before I change anything, I'm just going to keep shoulders square here. I'm checking in to make sure everything seems really steady and square. Hands can come into prayer at the front. Now, if this is already a lot for you, maybe just having the focus and the breath is enough. If we want to push it a little further, we're going to transition from here to Warrior 3. So the right leg is going to start to push back behind us as though it's pushing through mud. So we create our own resistance, while at the same time, we're letting the body, the torso, release forward. We're pivoting over the left hip. We're going to hold here for a moment in our T-type position. And then, as we inhale, we're going to gradually draw that knee back up to where we started. Now, if your toe touches down for a second, it's okay. And then exhale. Release that leg. Now, if you really want to challenge yourself, do that 2 more times. And that should keep you very, very focused. So we're going to do the same thing on the second side. Right foot anchoring in, grounded in. I like to think of growing roots right out of the bottom of my foot that start to weave into the earth, connect me down fully. When we feel ready, when we feel that sense of rooting down in the right foot, we can lift the left. Just check in, make sure everything is square, that we feel really solid here. We have our focal point in the breath. Hands come into prayer. And when we're ready, left foot starts to push back. Again, like we're pressing through mud. That resistance will help with our stability. Coming forward into our Warrior 3. Now, if you find this really challenging with arms forward, you can always swing the arms back with the palms up. Sometimes that makes balance a little bit easier. And then when we're ready, we inhale, and pull the left knee forward and up. And exhale. Release with control. Move the legs around a little bit. Okay. That's the hardest part of our practice. So we're going to come down to the floor. Come into a seated position. Legs in Sukhasana. Easy seated pose with the left foot closer to the pelvis than the right. Now we're going to keep the left leg here exactly where we landed. And we want to kind of keep it glued to the floor so it doesn't move. We're going to start to swing the right leg back behind us. The toes on the right foot guide it back so that it comes into line with the foot comes into line with the hip and the knee. Then we can release the top of the foot, press into the hands, lift the chest, and exhale. We're going to come forward into pigeon pose. Now, usually I make people work for pigeon a little bit, but you've already earned coming down right away. So it's a good idea for the sake of the psoas to lift up the chest as high as we can first, squeeze the knees and stretch the psoas, but now for today, we're using this more to help us wind down, stretch the hips out a little bit, that we're doing a lot of work for those balance poses. If you find it's too much to hold your full body weight here, we could always slide something under the left hip, like a block or a blanket. Or you could turn over on your back and take this as a reclined position. Take forelimb pose as an alternative. If this is feeling really good and you want to take it a little deeper, we'll just stack the hands. Let the forehead release. And they could be stacked fists or they can be flat. Just make sure the hands aren't too close to the body so that the neck doesn't shorten as we come down. We're letting the pose work on us. Aware of the breath. Feeling this sense of release. Softening. And then we'll start to bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift the chest. Let the left hip land on the floor. And right hand we use to swing this right leg around. And I'm just going to turn towards you so you can see. I'm going to cross my right leg all the way over my left. Right foot is on the floor. If that's a little intense for you, you can always lengthen out the left leg in front as well. So we're going to use this as a twist before we move to the other side. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. And exhale, right shoulder starts to draw back. Right fingertips on the floor, coming into your twist. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, we release forward. So we'll uncross the legs. Back into Sukhasana this time with the right leg closer to the pelvis, left leg in front. You find your position first and then ensure that the right leg stays planted here. And we'll start to swing the left leg back. Walk that foot into position. And then releasing the top of the foot. We give ourselves just a moment pressing into the hands to lengthen out. And then you're going to exhale, come down onto the forearms. So the right heel right now should be resting right in the crook of the left hip, like right in the hip crease on the left side. We breathe. You can feel things now starting to get a little quieter. Taking the heart rate up and the breathing rate up, and now it's starting to move back down again. Heart rate is settling. Breath is slower. If it's feeling good, we stack the hands, come down a little lower. Several more breaths here as we're just settling in. Shoulders are soft and away from the ears. And when we're ready, we're going to Start to draw the hands back underneath the shoulders, lifting the chest, letting the right hip drop to the floor. Left arm reaches back, left leg swings all the way around, crosses over the right. Left foot lands on the floor, both sitting bones on the floor. So if you need a blanket or something to get the sitting bones to release, you could always use that. Inhale, lengthen up, nice and tall. And exhale, left shoulder starts to draw back. Hanging out for a few breaths in our twist. One more inhale. And exhale. We release forward. And now we'll just uncross the legs, swing down onto your back briefly. We're going to come into happy baby. Happy baby for a happy back. We settle ourselves down so the back is flat on the floor. Maybe just draw the sitting bones away. Draw the seat away. Maybe even slide the hands underneath to help slide the seat a little farther toward the far end of the mat. And then we're going to draw the knees in. Take the peace fingers, the middle and the pointer finger, wrap them around the big toes from the inside. Big toes give a little squeeze back to the fingers. Slide the sacrum down toward the floor. Elbows are inside the knees. Feet flat up toward the ceiling. We're drawing the knees down, like we're trying to touch them down to the outsides of the shoulder blades, but not letting the sacrum roll up. So we have a lot of length here. And now we're going to take this really delicious, slow movement from side to side. And I'm talking so slow. Only a few inches in either direction. That's all you need. Massaging out all those fine little lengths of muscle on either side of the spine. We'll come back to center. We draw the feet together, release the hands, draw the knees together, give ourselves a little hug, hands across the front of the shin bones. Maybe a few circles of the knees in one direction. Massage the low back. And then same thing in the other direction. Circles of the knees. We come back to center. And now we'll release our feet. Maybe do a quick check-in. If you feel like you need a little something before you move into Shavasana, now's the time. Lengthening out or a little twist from side to side, whatever you need so you can settle in. And then when we're ready, we'll start to settle in for Shavasana. So we could keep really simple if we want, just come into maybe a corpse pose. I think when things are really uncertain, legs up the wall is the way to go. So that's where I'm going to head right now. I encourage you to do the same, but feel free to go wherever works for your body. So maybe just a little bit of a lift underneath the hips. If you find that low back pinches at all and legs up the wall. Or if you like to do Viparita Karani, you have the time, you want to get yourself up there, go ahead and use your bolster and come all the way into Viparita Karani. So we're going to get our hips in close to the wall. Use the arms for support. Swing the legs up toward the ceiling as you keep yourself balanced with the arms. Once we're there briefly, you're going to press through the heels just to lengthen things out, and then you'll let the legs soften and release. Now once we're here, we have a couple options with the arms. We can either let them rest on the abdomen, or maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, or arms can be out to the sides with the palms up. Or final option, overhead, elbows out to the sides, palms facing the ceiling, and fingers relatively close to each other. And that's where I'm going to hang out today. It's a good way to open the chest up a little bit more, lengthen things out. And now we just start to settle. Letting the back relax into the floor. We can feel almost like we're drawing energy up from the earth beneath us. We feel it drawing into back, the back of the body. The earth is happy to share. It has a lot of energy. We can always give a little back too. As we're feeling that gathering coming into the body, maybe we feel it move up the back of the legs, over the tops of the feet, and then washing down the front of the shin bones, over the knees, the thighs, the abdomen and chest, and into the head. You feel the head starting to clear. Maybe a right energy coming into the body, a sense of being alive, vibrant, at ease. Perhaps again, if we find it useful, connecting with that sense of gathering energy up through the back body. Drawing up through the back of the legs. Over the soles of the feet. And then down, flowing. A sense of having it wash over us, over the shin bones and the knees, the upper legs, into the pelvis, across the abdomen and chest, over the face, facial muscles soften. And again, a sense of the clarity in the mind, quiet. And just settle in for another minute or so, enjoying this quiet space. Start to have the sense of being rejuvenated. Letting some of the excess drain out of the legs. The legs feel lighter. Feel an easeful energy starting to return back into the system. We'll take just a few more breaths here. As always, if you have another 10-15 minutes, treat yourself. Stick with it. When we're ready, we'll start to draw the knees back in. Give the back a moment to settle here. And then we're going to roll to one side in the fetal position, letting the head rest on the right arm for a moment. Or the bottom arm, you can turn to the left. Couple more breaths. We'll start to press into the hands, press into the arms. Draw ourselves back up into a comfortable seated position. Before we rush to head off to the next thing, just take a moment here. Feel the body now. Hopefully we're a little quieter, the head's a little quieter. Thank you for joining me. Until next week, namaste. All right, everyone, be well. Try not to hit the refresh button too many times on the browser. And we'll meet again next week. Take care.